today I was like, when the Hurdle folks and the Kerala Mission folks approached me and said that, teach something. And I was like, what to teach in marketing? Everything is available on YouTube. Why are you coming to events to learn marketing, right? And I was like, let's do one thing that you can actually execute. So if at any point you feel like you want to take a picture of the slide, please go ahead and take it. You want to write down something, please write. If you think like, hey, this is this idea I can implement on my product, go ahead, do that, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially cover content loops, and I'm going to ask you a trivia question, something you can't find an answer right now if you Google. So the community that I run, and the company that I run, it has a meme page on Jiffy. Jiffy is what, if you open your WhatsApp right now and you try to search for a GIF, Jiffy, basically that's an API from Jiffy, right? That's where the GIF comes. What is your guess how many views GrowthX's memes have got in the last few years? Make a wild guess. By spending zero money and by only creating 60 memes, 60 odd memes. Can anybody guess? How many people think that it'll be like 1 million? 10 million? 100 million? How many people think it'll be more than 100? No, just like, oh, you think that it's going to be like less than that? Okay. 100 million? Give me a show of hands, no? I mean, come on, you have to be like energetic, otherwise I'm like not interested in presenting. How many people think it'll be like 1 million? At least 1 million, okay? How many think it like, still think that it's more than 10 million? Okay, how many people think it's more than 100 million? Okay, how many people feel it's more than 1 billion? Oh my God. How many people it's more than 2 billion? How many people feel it's more than 2 billion? Okay, how many people feel it's more than 3 billion? Yeah, the number is 3.3 billion, right? And I'll show you this whole piece, right? Why I'm bringing memes to a content conversation is a lot of time we get like, we go search on Perplexity, ChatGPT, or wherever you're searching nowadays, and you get 4 marketing ideas that every other company is also getting. And you do those ideas, you do it maybe like slightly better, but that will not work. I'm really sorry. And that has stopped working like a year back now. If you're just doing what every other player in your category is doing, and how many people are building a company here or want to build a company in next 6 months? Give me a show of hands. Seedhe matlab founder ho na? Yeah, okay, a lot of people. How many people are like, have worked in a technology company or a consumer company? Okay. And how many people have just graduated right out of college? My God, they're really scared. They're like, nah, I'm not raising hand. Okay. I think the fundamental I want to definitely cover is how did we get here and what does it do for the company, right? So if you like just look at this, right? If you right now open WhatsApp, I want everyone to open WhatsApp. Open WhatsApp, don't chat with someone. Go to the chat window and type product on the GIF search. Go to GIF, type search, like search product or search like startup. Now, of course, WhatsApp does personalize this. So I'm not sure if you will see the GrowthX memes, but you will see a meme here. That's the logo. I don't know. The screen is not that crisp. But there are a bunch of that are showing up, right? Now, startup is such a broad word. I mean, we run a community of people in tech. So we want to only talk to people who are in technology companies and consumer companies, right? Now, for a broad keyword, it's showing up on 5th and 6th. And I just showed you how many people, how many actually we have uploaded. I was wrong. It was not 60. It was around 69, around 70, right? So just 70 images, that creates 3.3 billion views. This costed less than 5,000 rupees to build. Nothing. Basically, somebody just keyword optimized it and somebody just put those images. So this is one example, right? But how do you really use your product, create content, and maybe get your users to create content for you? I'll say that again. How do you create content on your own? How do you spread it? And how do you get your customers to create content for you? I'm only going to talk about that, right? And how do you do it using a product, not like paying customers to make content, okay? Now, one of the things that I definitely, I think everyone has experienced this, right? How many people have stopped using Google search for finding information and use like a lot of ChatGPT, Perplexity, I don't know, coders here will have. How many people have moved on? Okay. How many of, give me a show of hands, how many people use like that is the price? Okay. How many of you have not opened Google today? Okay. A lot of people. Now, right now we are in November 2024, right? Let's take 12 months from now, this number will be, the people are in minority, right? And this is again, like just one city. If you compare it to like a Mumbai, Bangalore, you will find 95%. I asked this question in those conversations, 95% people say, I no more search on Google. I search on a ChatGPT wrapper or a Perplexity, or I don't know, like if they are if you're building something on AI, you'll be doing Anthropic, Claude, or something like that, or Bolt, right? What I'm trying to say is something that used to happen way back. I'm going to give you an example, but this will not work for your company, right? I want to show and prove it to point that, hey, how does a company which is a multi-billion-dollar company like Quora actually build it? And Quora is very simple, right? When you go and search for something, for example, I search for what's the best place to live in Bangalore. Let's say I'm moving to Bangalore, okay? It will show up an answer on Google. So I'm searching on Google. It will show up saying that, hey, here's an answer of a user who's been in Bangalore for a while and they've written it, right? Like saying you should check out Indiranagar, Koramangala, these are areas in Bangalore, right? And as soon as I read that answer, I am also thrown by the Quora algorithm that, hey, here are other few things about Bangalore that you can learn. And at some point, Quora goes ahead and does this. Quora is like, hey, by the way, you are from Kochi. So you know what's the best cafe in Fort Kochi. So do you want to write the answer for that? And that way, they will essentially keep generating answers from consumers who came from a Google search onto Quora. They went from a user, a reader, to start writing answers on Quora. This is a very fundamental content loop, right? And then all Quora has to do is keep SEOing it. Now ChatGPT just broke that SEO, right? That's what happened with now, right? So no more, like if you look at, like if anybody, how many marketing people here? You do marketing for a living. If you look at Quora's traffic in the last 6 months, it has freaking nosedived. Like people are just leaving Quora, right? The reason is that loop, that Quora's SEO loop, that's broken. No more people are writing answers on Quora. That's why no more indexing. That's why there's nothing to SEO. What will you SEO now? Now, if you look at like the example of Quora, you will soon realize that every single person coming on Quora is a potential writer. So in the process, Quora made everyone write, or majority of the people write, at least one answer. How many people have ever read a Quora answer and written one? Just look at the room, just look around you. So many people. And I think this can happen for your product. And a typical question that I get is, sure, Abhishek, I mean, Quora is a content platform, right? They will, of course, get all the content. My company doesn't do content. My company sells something, right? And how do I build those loops? So if you are now building a company which is not content first, but product first, here's what you can do, right? And I'm going to spend like 5 minutes on this. Understand it, reflect on it, and we will action one right away. And that's the end of the presentation. There's nothing else. So the first component of this is a shareable content. Now a shareable content could be a bunch of things, right? It could be a trivia. Trivia is like a good cafe in, I don't know, Kochi is Fort Kochi Cafe. That could be a trivia. Now for a person who's never been to Kochi, that could be a trivia, but somebody living in Fort Kochi for all their life, it's not trivia. So you need to look at what is trivia that people will share, number one. Number two is breakout news. How many people have used this app called InShots? Okay, how many people have a news app on your phone? Any news app? Okay, lesser people. Okay, how many people have Twitter on your phone? अरे बहुत सारे. Okay, ठीक है. How many people have LinkedIn on your phone? Oh my God. Okay, that's interesting. How many people have threads on your phone? नहीं मजे ले रहा था मैं मार्क के. हाँ ठीक है. I think the idea here is news. Why I ask news is because news is something that you feel smart about. If I tell you that, okay, let me do this right away, the social experiment, okay? If I tell you that the total size of healthcare market in India is 1/3 the size of gardening market in the US. How do you feel? You feel small, right? Like you're like, क्या हो रहा है यार? Garden का market industry is 3x of our healthcare industry of 140 crore people. But that's true. Now this is not my trivia. I read it somewhere, right? But for you it was trivia. So you need to find what that trivia is. And news is very simple. Like I'm originally from Maharashtra, so right now if a news comes and tells me who is the next CM of Maharashtra, which is always funny every 4 years, like if somebody becomes a CM then leaves and again becomes a CM, so that happens in Maharashtra. But I think the idea is, can you bring out, is news like the shareable thing for you? The other aspects also is social signaling. When I told you that the size of the US gardening market, like landscaping market, is 3x of our healthcare market, you started thinking, oh, I learned something new that I can use in my friend circle. And I can bet you that out of all of you, you are going to go tell this to Amban now. Saying that, hey, you know what? I know this, you don't know. Which is social signaling and something that you can use. And that's also sounding smart. Like, I'll give an example. And how many VCs are here? Venture capitalists? How many angels are here? Oh, this is a non-angel. Okay, I can say it now. I guarantee you, if you consume US VCs, you will stop listening to any Indian VC. And GrowthX is a capital funded company, so we have like solid, better capital and a bunch of interesting angels. But the quality of conversation you will have with a Y Combinator or a Anderson Horowitz, or I don't know, take all the names out there, right? Or first round, right? You will start, first round, right? So you'll start feeling like I can copy that and say it. And that's what India Twitter is. Because a lot of you Twitter are here, right? Indian VCs talking about investing and categories is basically copying US ka koi to article, right? They're sounding smart because that allows them to do what they have to sell, and which is not wrong. It's just they're not their work. And the other thing is fitting into the culture. For example, if you go to Bangalore and if you're not into coffee, oh my God, I'm a chai person. It's horrible for me, right? It's really horrible. And if you don't know what Araku is, oh, you don't know anything about Bangalore. What are you doing in Bangalore? Which is fitting into the culture. Now, these are some of the elements. You don't have to have these things. You can have whatever works for your product. But the point I'm trying to make is, until this hook is established on why somebody shares your product, it will stop working. A lot of time we get fascinated by algorithms of every channel, but we fundamentally miss out the point that customers talk to other people. I hope nobody's selling to bots right now, so far. Everyone's selling to humans, right? Anybody selling to bots right now? ये number भी बढ़ेगा, रुको, एक साल दो, ठीक है? But the idea is, if people talk to each other, why can't they talk about your product? And it's okay if you can't track. It's okay. I can't track those 3.3 billion. Kisne dekha? I can't track. There is no mechanism to track, right? But it's okay. By the way, tangent, that one of the GIF was posted by a US Senate member on Twitter, which has like some insane millions of views. And that's not counted in that 3.3 because she copied that GIF and posted, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, can you create a hook for your product? Why your consumers share your product? And another thing is generator, which is, are you generating the content? Like in Quora's case, Quora customers were writing the content, right? So Quora was not generating anything. Quora was just floating questions and saying that, hey, do you have answers for this? And people are writing, right? Now, when I take these examples, everyone's like, yeah, but I'm still not like a non-content company. I'm like, I sell, I don't know, give me an example. Any founder? What do you sell? Are you a founder? You're the one I did. Yeah, go ahead. What do you sell? Okay, agency. No, product. I'm saying product. Go ahead.
I sell a AI data insights product.
Data insights product, right? And now, again, let's content. But like, go ahead. A/B testing platform, right? And for A/B testing platform, you could not build a content thing, right? You will have to build something different as a hook, right? For example, a tool that allows anybody to check their website and see what all is wrong with their website, right? That could be like a content loop for him, right? But I'm going to take an example. How many people know what Scapia is? How many people have a Scapia card? Okay, no worries. I'll just quickly show you a video. I hope the audio is fine. 1 second, I'll have to just...
अच्छा चल मैं ना तुझसे बाद में बात करता हूँ ठीक है Hello 경복궁 팰리스 택시
네, 알겠습니다. 동민 씨, 딱 시동 부탁드릴게요. देखा हमारी भाषा में बात किया मुंडे ने कितना स्मार्ट है
स्मार्ट तो है ही, अपने स्केपिया कार्ड कॉइन्स को रिडीम करके कमरा फ्री कर लिया उसने।
टू गुड यार
मुंडा या स्केपिया कार्ड।
안녕하십니까
Tap your Scapia Federal Credit Card everywhere and use the reward coins to travel anywhere.
Sorted. Everyone's cool, clear on what the product is, right? Now, when you get a Scapia card, I actually have one, but I think it's in the bag. But when you get a Scapia card, right? When you actually go to the app, you say, I want to become I want to get the card. The card gets shipped to you, and when it gets shipped, something interesting happens. So when you open the package, and this is not a content company, right? This is a most boring company you can have, right? It's a freaking credit card, right? How many people get a credit card call? How many people got a credit card call today? How many people got in last 1 month? Yeah, look at you, right? Like you hate it, right? Like anybody says credit card, you're like, bhai, nahi sunna hai mere ko, right? So if you think about it from scratch, some of the things that they could build is trivia. So one is talk about places people have not gone to. For example, 6 months back, if I talk about how to do Azerbaijan in 50,000, it was trivia. Now it is not trivia, right? Second is like breakout news, right? For example, Thailand just made Indians to just literally land up in Thailand. They don't need any visa, any non-electronic. You don't need to have any documents except your passport, right? Now that's news, right? That could be a hook. Other hooks could be like a social signaling. For example, I'll show you an example of this, right? Which is, if I have a credit card and if I switch off all these lights and it glows in the dark, it'll be cool, right? Not a lot of credit cards actually glow in the dark, right? There could be other things also, right? Which is again sounding smart. Which is, if I if you observe the ad, it said free flights on Scapia. ये मुंडे ने उसका room free कर लिया, right? That's what she said. The Korean said, right? Now that's if your customer values, यार मेरे को better deal मिला. I got a better deal than you, and if that is a social signal, you can actually use it, right? And the last one is again fitting into the culture, right? How many of you have a friend who has gone to an international trips and their Instagram is flooded with that trip pictures? If I had 100 hands, I'll put 100. Oh my God, you don't have friends. How old are these people now? How many people are over 40 here? How many people are over 35? तभी छो रहा है ये मेरे साथ, ठीक है? How many are over 30? How many are over 20? 20 to 30? अच्छा, तो बाकी लोग क्या है? 60 है क्या? Huh? Over 50, okay, interesting. Okay, so if you have those kind of, I have those kind of friends who go to international trips every 6 months. मतलब आप personal loan पे लेके जा रहे हो, loan ले ही रहे हो, मतलब आप रुक नहीं रहे हो, right? And that is fitting into the culture, right? If you want to see a very cliche, cringe example of fitting into the culture, watch this show on Netflix called Bollywood versus Housewives, right? Bollywood versus Housewives. You should watch this show. If you have seen this show, you will understand what extreme fitting into the culture means right? Okay. Now, the thing that Scapia picked up, and this is a real example, the thing Scapia picked up was, I can actually have a credit card that glows in the dark. Now, when I actually order a Scapia card on my app, so here generator and distributor is interesting. Company and user is creating it together. I'll tell you how. So when I get a credit card, I have to activate the credit card. So I open the app, it opens my camera. Once it opens my camera, it tells me that you can click a picture. 1 second, I'm just gonna get it forward, yeah. And once I get the card, I can actually see the card here, and I can click a picture. As now I mistakenly had my flash on, so the glow is not showing up. But when you actually click a video or a picture of this, it saves, and if I click on use photo, it can automatically load within this. And now I can share this. Now imagine people are using the card behind a Great Wall of Giza or whatever wall is there, right? And they are having interesting beach pictures, mountain pictures, right? I can't pitch beach here to anyone here, right? In Kochi, right? But if you go to people who don't have access to a beach, that will be a social signaling, right? So when I actually go and click on share on social, it gives me all the options. Why? Can anybody tell me why it gives me so many options? Raise your hand. Why doesn't it just post on Instagram? Why does it give me option? Sorry? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry? Customer interest. Anybody else? Why doesn't it automatically post on my Instagram story? Why does it keep asking me where to post? Sorry? More social media apps. Okay. Anybody else? One more. Personalization. Okay. Sorry? No, where users are present. Okay. ठीक है. So, pin drop silence for the next 60 seconds and listen to what I'm saying. There are certain products that will never get shared 1:many. There are certain products that will only be shared 1:1. And there are certain products that will only be shared 1:few. Here's an example. 1:1 will always be that gynecologist that your wife's friend told her. 1:few will be things that you send in your college group, your alumni group. 1:to pura gaon is you posting on Twitter. Now, when I have this picture, I know my customer is on Instagram. But when they are on Instagram, do they want to share in their closed group on Instagram or pura Instagram? Also, do they have a private Instagram or a public Instagram? You don't have that information. So if Scapia is a 1:few product, I should give them that control. Are we clear? If this was like a Dream 11, what it would be? Everyone knows what Dream 11 is, right? MPL Dream 11. What it would be? Would it be 1:many, 1:few, 1:1? How many people think 1:1? Okay. 1:few. Okay, one person. बाकी पूरे सबको 1:many चाहिए क्या? Okay, 1:many. Okay, बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? सो रहे हैं क्या? अच्छा, okay. I think the idea I'm trying to communicate is take a very informed call on what products are going in a specific social setting, right? Now, if I ask you Dream 11's customer is of course, how many people have used Dream 11? Look at this. This is the answer to what I just said. They did not, I can bet you that 10x more people have used the product here. But they cannot accept that in this social setting, right? But if I tell you that an 18-year-old kid in like a, I don't know, at an IIT, and the kid tells the friend that, hey, I got 50 rupees cashback when I played the first match on Dream 11. If I share you my code, you will also get 50 rupees. Would that kid be cooler or not cooler? Cooler, right? Because I just earned 50 rupees for nothing, right? So it also depends on who your consumer is. So don't take anything as cringe on the face value. You need to ask yourself, which is the consumer I'm serving, and it will change from coolness to cringe. Okay. Now, every time, so right now Scapia has around 500,000 credit cards in the market. That means 500,000 this cream was shown. Every single onboarding of a user does not happen without this step. Cool? So this is one loop, right? The other things is, a lot of time when I tell loops, right, people confuse loops with influencer marketing. Now the last point I have, and then I'll stop and we can take questions, is when people are paying someone, like if I pay a YouTuber or a Instagram person to advertise my product, if I pay them, the moment I stop paying them money, the loop stops because they stop posting and most content dies, right? So if I, like the Scapia example itself, right? Like this is a very famous influencer, right? If I pay money to the influencer, they will create content, they will distribute also. So all the levers are also there. They'll write a hook also. All of that is there. But the moment I stop paying them, they will no more talk about my product. So that is not a loop. That is basically influencer marketing, which, I mean, that's a different conversation, right? The other thing is this, and maybe take a picture of this. It will help, right? If your loop is not like that, which is if a company is not sharing or company is not allowing users to share, otherwise, like only then people will discover it. If they discover it, they will share it and the loop will keep continuing. If you stop all your marketing efforts, people should keep talking about your product. Every time somebody onboards and every time somebody has a happy moment with your product. I think that's all I wanted to do. I want everyone to maybe write down one hook, one generator and distributor. I don't know if we have time or we can take Q&A. But I definitely wanted you to write one, and maybe I can pull that slide out. Go ahead. If you have a phone, write it in the phone. So write down like hook, and here are some examples of hook. write it for your product. Don't write for random products. And if you are a service company, write it for a random product then. Quickly. The hook could be like a trivia. The hook could be like a breakout news. It could be signaling. It could be sounding smart. It could be fitting into the culture. It could be anything. How many people have written it? No, I'm not gonna. Okay, you wrote it. Okay. The second is sharing, which is, maybe take a screenshot of this in interest of time, which is, how will they share it? How will that share flow look? Is it on WhatsApp? Is it on Instagram? Is it somewhere else? And the last is, from sharing to having a sign up link, can that be embedded in that share or it's not trackable? And if it's not trackable, it's okay. But if it is trackable, can you put a link there? And the last one, which is like who and how, right? Like who is creating, who is distributing and all of that, right? Here's an interesting thing that you can do in the next 2 days that you are here. Go and think of all the products and interesting content loops that they are doing, which are already, there are hundreds of products right now who are using different content loops. Maybe they don't have this articulation, but they are doing it. Okay, awesome. That's all on me. Questions? I hope this was helpful. Yeah, I'm good. We'll take questions. And how much time do we have? How many questions can we take?
This is the last session of the day. We can take
maybe
5? More than, yeah.
Okay.
Many questions we can take.
Okay, 1 second. One second, I'll just put the slide on so everyone can write their questions rather than doing like this. Yeah. Go ahead, you can just scan this and just write down your question. Go ahead, you can scan it if you have a question. We'll give everyone 2 minutes and then we'll do this. Yeah? Go ahead, scan it using your phone and directly ask the question. Please write your full name so that we can actually, if required context, we can just get it from you. You can just scan this QR and ask whatever question you have on stuff that we discussed. And let's keep questions to what we discussed, not like just questions. How do you build an audience prior to your product launch? Not related to content loops, right? There's a mic. Can you pass the mic? Not related to content loops, but I'll pass the mic to you and I'll go to the next question in the meanwhile. Radhika is asking, what are the top 3 things to avoid while building content loops? First, I already spoke about, which is the influencer. I think people confuse content loops with, oh, let me pay an influencer to write content. No, that's so money. If money is involved in content loops, that's number 1 flag. Second flag is, I think, a lot of time people are not understanding why people share. For example, people are like, अरे मेरा product अच्छा है, user को मस्त लगा, share क्यों नहीं करता है? अरे क्यों करे भाई? How many times have you shared out of your way? So having a very strong hook, people just have like a meh hook and expect like crazy results. That never happens. And third is effort. If it requires a lot of effort to create the hook, nobody will create it. So there is some assistance of the product that should happen, and maybe there could be other things, but these 3 could come to my mind right now. Okay. Okay, Sandhya is asking, could you give some example of content loops for service industry, especially consulting coaching? Where is Sandhya? Sandhya, yeah. So content loops are built for product companies and consumer companies. They are not built in for service companies. If you can get if you're in a service industry, and if you can get your end client to come on a content piece and then use their LinkedIn and WhatsApp status and Instagram to post it on there, then that could become a content loop, but that's not very scalable. But if you are serving a B2B enterprise company, you just launch a podcast. That's what a content loop would look like for you, right? But always use their LinkedIn to distribute, right? Okay. 1 second. Felix, where is Felix? Oh, so in the GF example, how do you measure ROI than watermark views? Brilliant. You can't. You should not. It took 5,000 rupees. You do so many things in your day that are not worth 5,000 rupees of effort for the company. Just do it, and not just do there. Also do it on Twitch if you are serving those consumer. Also do it on micro communities if you are serving those kind of consumer. I would still say Quora still has some traffic. right? Don't like discount it completely. They might come back with something, right? So I think go to the platforms where consumers are spending a lot more time and just do it. Treat this like a brand activity. But it will actually help over a period of time. I'll tell you how it helps. A lot of times I tell people GrowthX and they're like, yaar, dekha hai kahan? Kahan dekha hai? Yaad nahi, but dekha hai. And if you're especially serving B2B SaaS companies, this helps a lot. Like I feeling like, if I ask everyone right now, what is the paint brand in India? Like home paint, like wall paint. Sorry? What's the second one? What's the third one? Sorry? What? Okay, fourth one. Did you realize what happened right now? That's what I'm measuring, which is, can they now like have a ROI on this? This is very salient awareness of a brand, right? So you are solving salient awareness. Okay. Next one is, what are some, where is Arjun? Arjun is here. What are some metrics to check to ensure content loops are working efficiently? Okay. So metrics could be, one is number of customers who saw the loop, number one. Number two, like just the whole funnel, right? Which is how many people clicked on that button to create the hook, if it is a user generated one. How many actually clicked on share button? How many actually shared it? How many clicks you got on those links? How many people of the links actually signed up on your product? How many of those signed up product actually added a cart if you're a consumer company, or if you're a technology company, whatever the first important action was. And then how many people actually did one core action. And you measure all of this, and that's why you need reach in millions for this to work. Make sense? Does content loop work for B2B also? How is me marketing relevant for your product? I'll answer the first one first. Where is Hemant? Okay, Hemant is right there. Okay. So Hemant is asking, does content loop work for B2B? Yes. Your industry reports are your content loops. Make a PDF of them and let the whole world read it for free. That's your content loop, right? Second is, and good ones, not the industry reports that Nelson sends, which has just data. Half the people don't understand what they in the report. Okay. Second is having a own content play that they can also, like if you're serving B2B people, right? I asked everyone, how many of you here on LinkedIn? I mean, build content for them that they can use on their own LinkedIn, not your company handle, right? That's the best content to build for B2B, right? The other one is, how is meme marketing relevant for you? Yeah, I mean, like if you go to growthx.club, the website, if you just spend like a minute on the website, you'll understand that we are not an affordable product. It's very clear, right? And we want to keep building and nurturing audiences forever. So we want to keep talking about the brand and what you can learn from the brand rather than selling you the brand, right? And one of the ways in like this, like our initial setup, so we are around a 10 crore revenue company per year. We are around to have 3,500 plus customers who renew every year. We are a community platform. And one of the things that typically happens is people want to sound cool. And the cool definition in technology companies is memes. That's why memes. There is no specific reason. Whatever is cool in your industry, you should use that. Cool? Okay. I think I'm good on this. Okay, there are a lot more. I'll answer one last one. Okay, there's a question on cred. Not relevant to this conversation. We can do this offline. Are growth loops and content loops same? Growth loops and content loops have one tiny difference. Referral, who is Felix? Felix, you're here, right? Referral and partner design will also come in growth loops, which I have not covered today in interest of time. Okay, awesome, lovely. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Please go and execute. Thank you.